Hi guys, this is Wireheadking and today I'm getting into part 15 of our tutorial, well, the tutorial that will help you make rainforests. This is what I've got so far. There's a bit of compositing needed to be done, and a bit of lighting changes as well that is going to be covered in this tutorial. So what we're going to do about this is first of all I want to turn on some softer looking shadows. So to do that I'm going to go to the light, and I've already turned on ambient occlusion like ages ago, like in part 5 or something, and the environment lighting set to 0.3, so just keep that in mind. If you haven't got these settings, then change them now as if you want to. I mean, this is just a tutorial, it's not like a thing that you have to follow perfectly. Okay, so with the light, I've gone into the light settings now, and I've turned the samples up to 2 and the soft size up to 1.1. Now when I render this, what I should get is just some nice, the shadows should be a bit more softer and more, oh yeah, just softer, and they sort of blend in a bit nicely. They're just nicely sort of soothed into the rest of the scene, basically. So it's not like some harsh line that just you know, that contrasts the shadows to the rest of the scene. So while this renders, I will pause and show you the finished result. Okay then, so we're getting there now, but of course we're getting into the compositing now, and I just realized the floor, the reflection, it's just reflecting the, well, the reflection is not really there anymore, but it should be. Anyway, all it's reflecting is just the stuff in the scene, and then that greyness, when we want it to be reflecting some nice background. So we're going to need to change some stuff in order to make it look realistic. So first of all, I'm going to just increase the brightness of this texture here, and the contrast as well, just a bit, just to really emphasize the amount it's going to be reflecting. And then I'm going to go to the world settings, turn it to paper sky, and you'll see nothing change until I add an image. But I'm going to jump over to the textures now, making sure that the world thing is selected here, and I'm going to add a new texture. It's going to be an image. I'm just going to call this sky, and I'm going to press open and go to my text. No, let's go to reference images, trees 2, and it's where is it? We're going to be using here we go. Just this image right here, and if we go over, we're going to make one to affect the horizon. So under influence, just tick horizon, and now we should have this nice horizon. So let's just give that another render. In fact, before we do that, because I want to get straight into the compositing afterwards, with the camera, I'm just going to select it, and then under this thing, I'm going to display the limits. And then if I increase this distance value here, I can change what the camera is focusing on. And I think this sort of bit where this rock here is a good thing for it to focus on. So then you get the nice sort of blurred out background and a bit blurred foreground, and it just, it's creating depth of field basically when I get into the compositor. So now when I render this, it should look good. In fact, no. Yeah, I need to change a few more things. If I go to the render layers, I'm going to add some. I'm going to start adding some layers. So I'm going to call this one scene, and this is just going to be comprised of all of these layers here. So you can hold Shift and click on these, and that way they will stay selected, the ones you've already selected. And I'm going to add another one. I'm going to call this sky. And this is just going to have this layer right at the bottom here. And now to import this sky, what I'm going to do is go to my user preferences, go to file, add-ons, and go to images, and tick import export images as planes. And now when we add, we go to file, import, and then images as planes, then just find our texture again, or our sky, and it's somewhere near the bottom. Here it is, and we're going to want to go down and tick shadeless and yeah, shadeless. Just tick that. Import it, and make sure that if we go down here, we uncheck traceable, and that way it won't cast any shadows or anything. Because I don't want it, just uncheck all this stuff. We don't want any of this random rubbish. I don't know. What does that even do? Oh, hang on. Prevent ray trace. Yeah, okay. Right. So, yeah, we just want, yeah, just this stuff and use mist. That's fine. Okay. But we're gonna rotate this by 90 degrees. Go to camera view. Make sure it's up the right way, which it is. Good. And bring back the rest of our scene. And we're just going to position it at the back, just over here, move it up, scale it up, and alright, and that's going to look okay. And just going to want it so that the horizon where our thing is, so just move it up a bit like that. There we go. So that's not looking too bad, and you know, you're probably thinking that it's going to be a bit too clear, but we're going to add some stuff, so it's really not going to be that clear at all, so it won't be obvious that there's some horizon line at the end of this plane. Okay, so with that done, what I'm going to do now is, that's on the correct layer, yep, down over here, we're going to want it to, the sky. We're not going to tick all Z, but if you're not going to add, if you don't have rain, tick all Z, but I do, so I'm just gonna have mask layers of every single one of the things in the scene layer, and we're gonna add rain now. So let's add a new layer, call it rain, and what we're gonna do for this is add a plane and just scale it up so that it just goes nicely over everything. Try and keep it sort of tight as you can keep it, really, so that would do. Try also just shrink it down and move it over. Okay, now we're going to add a particle system to this, and if I just move this over to the last layer on the here, so just some other random layer, if we press Alt A, you can see that they're just falling nicely, but as you can see, they are also just spawning out the top. So I'm going to press Tab and then press W and then choose Flip Normals, and now they will start spawning out of the bottom where they should be, but they're not falling fast enough for my liking, so I'm going to set the normal up to 5. Okay, and now they're just falling nicely like that, and I'm also going to change the number up to 300,000, so that's quite a lot, but it's needed for heavy rain. So under the render, I'm going to change it from halo to line, and maybe 300,000 was a bit much, maybe just 30,000. Okay, and try this. Right, well, yeah, okay, 30,000 should be good. If we just bring back the rest of our scene, actually, then we can maybe get a better look at it. Okay, yeah, 30,000 maybe not be enough, maybe about, yeah, 300,000, 323. Okay, now the lines are at the moment really quite big, like too big, so I need to just save this, so I don't want to do that. Wait, well, you're on part 15, so that's fine, we can save it here. And right, so if we just press Alt A, okay, right, you can see that these lines are pretty big. So if we come down to the render, here we go, we're going to set the back down to a 0.05, so that they're just a tenth of their original size. I'm maybe sure if maybe 0.1 maybe, yeah, 0.1 looks good. And okay, that's looking alright. And also for the material, we're just going to give it a new material, and I'm going to call this rain, and we're going to just set the we're going to set it to shadeless, and the color is going to be just completely white like that. Okay, and it's not going to receive anything. You can uncheck all of this, uncheck traceable, all that stuff, and that's good enough. So now we're going to make sure that the render layer over here has got for rain. Wait, scene. Yeah. Yeah. We want it to have that. So just hang on. No. We want the rain to be whatever layer you've got the rain on, but it has to be. Remember, the rain has to be in its own separate layer with nothing else in. And with that said, we're also going to want to check all Z on the rain, and that way, you know, when it goes behind an object, you will actually see it go behind an object. Okay, so now with all of that done, we are now ready to render this again. So save it before you render it. That's always a good tip, and render it. Okay, so I've started rendering it, and you can already see there's a bit of a problem that started. There's just a whole lot of shadows where there should be plants ready. So, and that's because now that we've separated it into render layers, it doesn't quite understand that what we need is all of these to be all the places where we've got the you know, the plants and all that stuff. They need to be being rendered as well. So we're just going to need to select all of this stuff and move them down like that. And in fact, we can even just get rid of these things because we've already got all our rocks, and I don't want to get rid of the empty. Just get rid of those like that, and bring back our twigs and pebbles and whatever else. Drag them down. Okay, and yeah. Okay, so in our scene we can now select these things to be rendered as well. And okay, now we can get things rendered. So just make sure everything is being displayed, and now render. Alright then, so we've got the scene here, and it's looking quite good. So now we just need to get into the compositor. So a quick way to do that is to press Control left arrow, and that'll just take us straight there. And we're gonna get out our nodes like this, and we also need a viewer. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is add in our depth of field. So we're going to go to filter. In fact, let's sharpen up the image first. So filter, like that, and we're going to add a we're going to make it sharpen like that, and you'll see when we connect this in, it'll get really sharp like that. So we're just going to set the factor down to 0.1, and what that does, it just makes things just a bit more, well, sharp. So that sometimes helps if you don't like that. In fact, maybe a bit too high still, 0.05. There we go. But I did that, and I think it works well. Okay, so now I'm going to add my depth of field. So I'm going to go to filter defocus, and just put that there. We're going to want to put the Z into the Z like that, and also uncheck preview and press use Z buffer, and set the f-stop down to 80 perhaps, something like that. And yeah, if you set it down to something like 20, you can see the obvious effects. It goes a bit blurry, and it gets a bit freckly around here, so we just set the threshold down to 0, and that will fix that problem a bit. Okay, but we don't want it at 80, we want it at something better, so something like sorry, we don't want it at 20, we want it at 60, say. Yeah, I don't know why it's blurring out this side bit. I mean, did I press something? No. How about I put just my image in there like that? Okay, no, that doesn't seem to change it much, but that's fine. We can live with that. I mean, it's blurring out the sides, but anyway, yeah, the next thing we're going to want to add is our fog. That's quite an important part of our scene. So, in fact, first of all, let's just set the f-stop up to 80, like that. Okay, so yeah, our fog. So the way we do that is we go to filter, vector even, and then we do map value, and what that will do is add this little node here. I'm going to put our Z in there, and if we just duplicate this viewer, okay, like that, okay, you can see that if we pull back this offset, you know, the geometry of the scene is sort of displaying in this sort of black and white thing. And you know, what we're going to do is, if I show you this, so we can do things in real time, just for the demonstration. If we had a mix node, put in our image into one of them, and then our map value into the factor, and then look at that, you can see how that's working. Something's up, like the Z value is just messing things up today, like, I have no idea why. But oh yeah, if we just tick use minimum and use maximum, that fixes it. Okay, so you can sort of see how that's working. Now you're going to want the transition into fog being bigger, so you think, well, that's easy to turn up the size, but that makes it worse. You instead want to decrease the size to like a 0.1, and maybe even smaller, like a 0.05, like that. Okay, and the more you bring down this use maximum, the sort of less it will go. It's, yeah, something's up with the Z value today. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, I'll just bring down the size even further, like a 0.01, and push it back maybe. I mean, we don't want all of it to be foggy. 0.003. Okay, yeah, 0.003 seems to be doing the trick, but you know, you want to play around with that, see what looks good. And I'm also going to make this a very mild yellowy green color like that. That just makes just tints the fog a bit. Okay, now I'm going to want to reapply that the sky. So the way I'm going to do that is duplicate the scene here and set it to sky. And let's just get my a new viewer up here and get rid of that one and put that in there. Okay, so with this, oh yeah, we're going to need to do a re-render. In fact, yeah, okay, what we're going to do is re-render this. So go to layers, go to scene, uncheck sky, go to sky, uncheck the sky, and go to rain, uncheck the sky. And that's, you know, what I'll do is just mean that the this sky texture will not be rendered, but the reflective things will still pick it up, because, you know, that's just how they work. Okay, so with that done, I'm also going to go to scene and tick specular, because I forgot to do that, but I like to play around with the specularity with these wet scenes. So now we're going to have to re-render this again, but we'll be able to continue in the compositor. So let's render this. Alright, so it's rendered again, and we can, yeah, here we go, you can see our sky's looking a lot better now. Well, yeah, what we're going to do is, we're going to add a blur node, and it's going to be a fast Gaussian, set the relative, make it relative, make it relative, the aspect correlation to X, and set this to 5 and 5, like that. And now, when we add a mix node, set it to add, and then put this and its original thing into that, and look at the viewer. You can see how that's going to be looking. Now if I switch them around, it's going to look the same, but now if I increase this factor thing to 3, you can see that the brightness has now been increased, and maybe I'm going to set this to 10 by 10, like that, and maybe set this to 4. Okay, and now we can add this to the rest of the scene. Just pull this back here and get rid of that. Go to color, mix, set it to add, and put this into the bottom and this into the top maybe, and then put that in the viewer. Now I'm going to need to put it the other way around, aren't we? Yeah, it's got rid of some stuff. I don't get it. Oh, maybe the mask layers. Yeah, the mask layers need to be changed. So for the sky, we're going to need to give it the mask layers of everything in the scene apart from the rain. So wait, hang on. So this, and that. Okay, and yeah, we're going to need to re-render that again. So sorry about that, but we're going to have to do that. And it's now being rendered again. And where were we? Alright, yeah, so yeah, just put that in at the top like that. Okay, and what about in the bottom? Okay, so yeah, that's not looking too bad. What I might do is just change this use maximum back down to about 0.05 like that. And okay, so that's looking okay, but it's looking too bright and lovely to be in a rainy scene. So you know, if you're not making a rainy scene, then you can keep it how it is, if you want to anyway. But I'm gonna get the yeah, oh god, what did I just do then? No, there we go. Right, that gets up there. Okie dokie. Right, sorry about that, just accidentally messed something up in the compositor. Right, I'm going to put the add node into this, and then this into the add node, and I'm just going to make this a bit darker, like that, and maybe take away some of its colours. So just lower the red, lower the green, and you know what, the blue can actually stay how it is, because that's what makes it look a bit gloomy and nasty, and I'll even give the fog a bit of a blue tint actually, yeah. Okay, but I'm going to need to bring down this use maximum to like 0.02. Yeah, there we go, that's looking kind of gloomy now. Also, another thing we're going to add to the scene is this specular thing. So basically what this has done is it's got all the specularity from the scene and just put it in a new render pass for us, so that's fun. Now I'm going to blur this out in a similar way, so just get it to fast Gaussian, set it to relative. The reason why I do that, by the way, is when we increase the render size at the end, like the dimensions, it won't render with it. It won't play around with the pixels. Instead, it will give it relative to that. Because if we just did it with a pixel, then you know, it will. Let's say we double it, then what we did, like let's say we set like 100 pixels, where it would blur, it would you know, only do, you know, it would show the same as if it were only set to 50. So you know, it's now relative to the render size. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm blurring this out, and I'm going to set this, I'm not going to have any aspect correlation. I'm going to set this as 5 and 5, and then add it back onto itself. So mix, add. In fact, I don't need to do that, do I? I just need to add it to our scene up here. Yeah, maybe there. I don't know. I might have to move this add node a bit further back in the whole thing. Okay, let's just see how that looks. That's not looking too bad. Yeah, we can leave it at that actually, so that's looking good. And that's just blurred out the, made a nice glow where it's shiny. Okay, and maybe if I actually just increase the factor to like 1.5 or something, that might just overdo some of it, and that's just not doing much at all, is it? Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at 1 then. Yeah, just at 1. Okay, so now we're getting nearer to, in fact, yeah, let's add in the rain now, because we're getting nearer to the end of this tutorial now, and the rain is still not being added in. So we're going to duplicate the scene again, like this, and then set this to rain. And if we take a look at what this looks like, you can see it's just these very bright lines. Okay, so you know, that's not really perfect to add into a scene. Well, actually it is. So we're going to put this in at the bottom, and then put this on the top, the bit that we already had, the add node here. And then if we just put this into our viewer like so, yeah, you can see that the rain is showing up way too much. So we're going to set the FAC down to 0.1, and that's just sort of made it a bit nicer. But I can sort of see how the rain is a bit uniform. So that's going to be fixed in the next part, where we just fix up a few things. Okay, so yep, that's about that. We're near the end now. Just get rid of that viewer node, it's pointless. We're now just going to add a few extra effects just to get things looking good. One of these effects will be the vignette, perhaps. Yeah, let's add a vignette. And then what that does is it just makes the scene look a bit darker and more strange, not strange, more gloomy. So okay, what I'm going to do to do this is go converter, math, and we're going to put this into the top like this here. And we'll set this to greater than, I don't know where that is, so greater than is right at the top or the bottom, depending on where the menu comes out of. Okay, I'm going to set this value here to -1, meaning every single thing is going to be white. Okay, And now we're gonna go to distort, lens distortion, and set the distort up to 1. And you might be able to see where we're going with this. You'll see that if we were to add a color node, mix, set it to a multiply, and then put this in at the bottom like that, and then this in at the top, you'll be able to see that the corners are now being blacked out, but that's just looking nasty, so I need to sort of blur, feather out these edges, so we can do that by adding another blur node, setting it to fast Gaussian, then relative, and then on one of these correlations, I think Y usually works best, set this to 35, something like that, and then we can just lower this factor, and you can see the corners are just sort of, you know, getting a bit closer to the black colors. And now for the final part of the compositing is the color grading. So the way we do this is we go to color balance, put this in here, and then what we're going to do is make the lighter parts of it sort of like a yellowy color, and the darker parts, and because the scene is quite dark, we're going to have to really just do it very carefully, make it just slightly blue. And yeah, there we go. That's, you just compare the differences because you might not have seen any difference. It just gives it just a bit of a tint to areas that needed a bit of a tint, really. So maybe just make it a bit more blue. But I don't want to go too over the top. That's a bit over the top there, actually. So okay, and also no, that's fine. So that is now nearly finished render. I think I went a bit fast though, so I'm just going to do a brief overview of what we did. So we added in the sharpen node, then put that into a defocus, and what that does is it just sharpens out the image and adds a bit of depth of field. Then we added our map value node, and what that does is sort of generate the fog, and we put that in the mix, and then this color here is the color of the fog, and of course this image goes in, so the fog, you know, you get the bluish fog over that image. Then what we did was we added in our sky, which was just this image. We blurred it out, added it to itself, and then made it a bit darker and got rid of some of its colors, and that just added a bit of a nice sort of glow sort of coming in from the outside of our scene. And then we got the specular and we blurred that out and reapplied it to our scene, so now you just get soft glows where the shinier bits are. Then we added our rain, which was self-explanatory, really. That's quite easy. Then we added a vignette with this whole node system, exactly like that. And then we added a color balance and just adjusted the colors to how we liked. So that's quite a lot of nodes, and just you know, but the scene has been greatly improved. So I just want to get this color balance and put that in the composite node at the end there, and what that would do is mean that whenever it renders, it has all those effects applied to it. Now, as you can see, that just in the compositor we have really changed this starting image that we had over here. It's now looking like that, so you can really, you know, see the differences that it's made just using the compositor. Okay, so now that's the end of this part. We're getting really close to the end now. In this next part, we're just going to be fixing up a few things, and then we'll be done. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.